Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Abundance Tree Podcast. I'm your host, Janice, and I'm here with my lovely co-host,
April Capri.
April Caprice in the building again. How are you?
Welcome back, everyone.
Yes, welcome back, welcome back. So, how's it going?
It's going well. We had an amazing weekend. We attended an amazing event. We met some amazing people. So it's amazing. What can I say?
Right, right. We sure did. We got in those rooms, y'all. So over the weekend, so it was a lot of fun, and be looking out for a special episode to highlight our eventful weekend. So it's upcoming. So
Shout out to
awesome
the
stuff.
podcast summit.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we have a great guest tonight. So
We really do. We have a guest with over 30 years of entrepreneurial experience. After the 2008-2009 collapse wipes out his business, he embarked on a complete overhaul of his approach, escaping the owner prison, as he calls it, to gain true control over his time. Now the CEO of Sharpen the Spear Coaching, he is the best-selling author of Escape the Owner Prison, and is known for his ability to combine strategic insight with tactical execution. He is also a speaker, a podcast host, a Marine, a champion boxer, a black belt, internationally recognized steel sculptor. How do you even do that?
wow.
He helps companies scale, regain control, and fast track growth while loving life. Sounds like a beautiful life to live. We have Mr. Richard Walsh.
All right.
Yes, big powerhouse, a steel
Right.
sculptor, and a
Exactly.
black belt. Oh my goodness.
Yes. And a former Marine. Hey,
Yes.
Richard.
Hi, Richard.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Welcome to the Abundance Tree Podcast. Thanks for
Thank
coming on
you.
with us.
I'm
Yes.
excited to be here.
So I want to start out by saying thank you for your service because we did read that you were in the
Yes.
Marines, correct? So
Correct.
thank you
Yes.
for that and
Yes.
a lot of other awesome things. So
Absolutely.
yes,
Thank you for that. You have a very impressive resume.
Thank
exactly.
you. It's
Yeah.
just it's time, you guys. Live long enough, you do a lot of stuff. That's all.
Right. So start out by telling us about yourself.
Yeah, so let's see where to go back. How far to go back? Let's just talk getting out of the Marine Corps. So I did the Marine Corps for 4 years, got out of that, and that was good.
Okay.
I learned I don't really take direction well, so that was kind of an issue. I could do it
Hold
for
on,
a short
hold
period
on,
of time.
hold on. In the Marines, you did it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
did
You take
sorry.
direction. No, what I learned was I did it, but it wasn't my
Okay.
thing. I wasn't going to be a lifer. I was going to
I
be there for
gotcha.
20 or 30 years. My son
Okay.
is currently in. He's been in
Okay.
about 6 months now. And he's doing awesome. So I love him, man. It's just really cool. He's doing some hard stuff. But yeah, so I got out and I just started working because you got to make money. So I got an incredible job swinging a pickaxe, digging trench, like in Tucson, Arizona, like 100 degrees, 18 inches deep. And you literally swing a pickaxe like you're on a road crew or something, prison crew. I don't know, $5 an hour. And that's how I started, just working. And I'm like, wow, this isn't, I might want to go back in the Marine Corps. This is what I've got to look forward to. But then someone gave me a side job, like, hey, can you help me do this, move this granite? So it's like a 3/4 inch crushed granite. They do that instead of grass and stuff down there. So I need to move from the street to my backyard. And it's 35 tons worth. I said, okay, well, I can do that. I work hard. I can do that. So I literally spent like my last $85 before payday and bought a wheelbarrow and a shovel. And I did this job, right? So I'm shoveling. I did the whole thing, sweating 10 hours, got it done. But here's the best part, you guys. They handed me $1,000 in cash for doing that job. And I'm like, I'm looking at this thousand and I'm going, I did the same thing for $50 yesterday. And I told him, go, I think I know my future.
Yeah,
I
right.
am going to work for myself from this point on, because all I need to do is 2 of these jobs a month. I'm making more money than the other gig. So that was a big epiphany for me early on. Then I worked towards that, right? So I started doing landscaping, which turned into custom water features. So backyard ponds and waterfalls. Started doing really well in that. I was very early on in the industry, kind of one of the pioneers, if you will, doing that stuff. Started getting national awards, doing really cool stuff. I started taught myself how to weld and be a steel sculptor So I'm like, hey, I like to make these really cool things that'll go along with my water features. So I did that. And then next thing you know, I'm doing like world-class projects, and I'm a internationally recognized steel sculptor now. And, and it's funny because, when you go to school, at least my public school experience was not good. I was kind of a clown, didn't like homework, right? I wasn't excelling, what do you call it? At being smart, book smart, right? And, the teacher always tell you, well, you're not going to be anything. You're going to be this and that. And then I remember I was doing a huge project, big world-class project. And I'm thinking, man, I started thinking about that. I go, I'm making more on this one commission than those teachers would make in 10 years or more. I'm like, and they said I had no talent, So it's just one of those things you think about when people say things like, you don't really need to listen, unless it's real wisdom coming your way and they have have you in mind, right? It's really to help you. Like there's wisdom in a multitude of counselors. So you want to get the right people to talk to, not yes men, but people who are going to give you the real scoop. But a lot of people make those premature judgments of who you are at that time. Right. We all change at different times and stuff like that. The saving grace was I only hung out with the smartest kids in school. So everyone kind of thought I was really smart, book smart. I was very smart as far as doing things, but much to their surprise, I was not. So I got through all that. That really went well. We were building and scaling. It was just awesome. And I was making tons of money and doing great things and having whatever I wanted. And my wife and we started having kids, and we had 6 kids in like 3.5 years, so we had that whole thing going on. It was like, wow, that's crazy. And then 08 hit, 08, 09 hit, and kind of the collapse, the financial collapse. And that kind of, it kind of opened up like the problems I was having in my business of the things I wasn't doing. Right. So I suffered from the collapse, right? I don't blame the collapse. It was just an indicator that said you weren't doing the things you should have. Because if a collapse can ruin every business, there'd be no business, right? So some people weather it because they've done the right thing. So it was a big learning experience for me because we lost everything, house, the whole thing. So now I've got 6 kids, my wife, and got to find somewhere to go. So we had to relocate and kind of start over. But a big thing that's kind of cool in the whole thing that I love, and a lot of times when people run into these big walls or these collapses or these huge failures, I'm supposed to be supporting my family, my wife, roof over their head, all this stuff, and I think I'm just killing it. I'm doing whatever I want when I want, I'm building all this stuff, making this money, and then all of a sudden it evaporates overnight. And that's what it did, because that collapse hit in one day. It was November 5th of 2008. I lost $500,000 in that day, and it just kept going off the cliff through most of 09, right? It just wasn't going to. Yeah. It was, I wasn't going to recover. And here's the thing that really helped is one morning I'm kind of wake up and I'm in bed. I'm thinking of all my kids, and they're little, right? They're all like 4 years old and younger. But every time I come home, and I come home late because I work a lot of hours, they run, they attack you, they jump all over you, they love to see you. In the morning, one of my sons would chase me down the driveway as I'm driving out in my truck, crying. I'm looking in the rearview mirror at that. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, oh man. So I started thinking, and I said, you know what? My kids don't care what I drive. They actually don't care what I do. They don't really care where we live, what kind of house and all that kind of stuff. And I realized all they wanted was to be around me, but they never get to be around me because I work all the time. Right. So I'm always working. I don't get to be with them. So I started realizing, if I stay on this path that business comes first, all they're going to know is business comes first. And I'm going to destroy their future relationships, marriages, all that stuff, because they won't know any better. They'll be so focused on succeeding in business, everything else won't matter, and they'll ignore everything else, right? And that was the path that I was on. So I that morning, I just went out and said, we're done. I walked in the office, and my office manager, we're shutting down like this week. I told my guys, been working with me, the same crew for over 10 years. I said, guys, we're finished. Because I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to continue down this, because with kids, more is caught than taught, right? So it doesn't matter what I tell them to do. They're only going to do what they see me do. That's the reality. They may pick up a thing or two that I say, but it's all going to be about how you live. So that, and I'm kind of an all or nothing guy too. So when I'm out, I'm out. sold every piece of equipment, every welder. I haven't welded since. I haven't made a sculpture since then. I haven't built a water feature. I got rid of everything. And my wife wasn't super excited about that part. And she was probably right. And a part of that, I should have kept some stuff. But I just had to move on and figure things out. So, and that's what I did. Kind of connect the dots and go, okay, I can't work for someone because I'm unemployable now. 20 years, working for myself, coming out of the Corps and everything. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work. I mean, I'm a really good employee, you guys, for like 12 months. Show up early, stay late, never had to tell me what to do. I just do stuff. You'll love me as an employee until about 12 months. And then I'm going to need to run your business.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So then you're not going to want me around anymore unless you're giving me the keys. Okay. So that's what happened. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to go down that path. So I just kind of started over and I built it right this time. So I really got into building it right. How do I have true control of my time? How do I create a business that can run and scale, but have control of my time? So if I have to go home, I can go home. It doesn't matter. They don't need me there. I started with a gym. I did a boot camp style training. I started training people. That was great. I had a construction business. That was great. So I did a lot of great things the right way. And then people started to ask me, like, how'd you do it? So, well, how'd you go from nothing and then rebuild it this way? But now you actually have a really good, like, balanced life, And so I said, well, I did this and started helping them in the mentor position, right? And then as an entrepreneur, you're not really going to be a mentor. You got to become a coach because mentors they help for free and coaches get paid. Okay. So I'm an entrepreneur. So I said, well, this looks like a business to me. So I think I can help people, do all this stuff with their business. And then I wrote a book. So at the same time, I'm like, well, hey, I'm doing well with that. I'm going to write a book and it's called Escape the Owner Prison, became a bestseller. It's the contract's new way to scale, regain control, and fast track growth while living life. So I'm like, well, that's fun. I kind of got the story in me and I knocked out this book and whatever, bestseller in 10 categories on Amazon and all that. And that was really great. So I built a coaching program around that. That was a lot of fun and did some other stuff. And I just started learning that if I could help people avoid what I went through for 20 years, if I can compress their time and like help them, skip the bad mistakes, the costly mistakes, poor decisions, the financial mistakes, and do that, man, their lives can be completely different. Because so many people get into a business and they have to work super hard the first 2 years, right? And I haven't figured out a way not to do that. So you're going to work hard because it's new and you got to figure it out and you're going to make mistakes and whatever. But the problem is, you guys, is that all of a sudden 10 years has gone by and they've repeated the first 2 years 5 times. So they can't grow. They're making the same thing, but they're doing all the work themselves, or they have a few people, but they can't let go. So that was the pattern I saw in all these businesses. So that's what kind of created my niche. I said, I can help these people. Like I can change their lives. And that's what I really wanted to do, is like give them the freedom and the profit and the impact they wanted going into business and not be stuck on a hamster wheel.
That's so powerful. I want to go back to kind of the beginning of your story where you recognize like the heavy, like the heavy work that you've done. Like you told me, you said that you got $50 one day and then $1,000 the next, like, and you recognized what an entrepreneur was back then. I just thought that was so powerful. Like not very many people have that epiphany, if you want to say it that way. So, like, what were your thoughts more about like all that going forward? Like, did it just like come to you, like you said, epiphany, or
Yeah,
just what was your thought in that? Because that was kind of powerful. So.
Yeah, Janice, what it was is you get that. It's like you want to. Part of me doesn't like caps, doesn't like ceilings, doesn't like limits. Right. Nothing like in the Marine Corps, you're like rank and then you got to wait and then you got to wait. I'm like, man, I should be a general. I've been here 2 years. Right. Because I kind of was an idiot. Pardon me. But I'd love the opportunity. Right. So I love no limits. So that money in my hand, it didn't represent like money. To me, it represented freedom. So when I look at that, I go, wow, I mean, literally 50 and 1,000. Even today, if you had 50 and 1,000, you'd prefer the 1,000, right? It's a lot back then. I was making $5 an hour working for someone, hard labor. Like a lot of people can't, they want 15, 20 bucks to, bring food out to someone's car now, so it's like a little different,
Yeah. Yeah.
but what I saw was an ability to create freedom for myself. Like, wow, I can tell them how much I can do this every day if I want. See, a lot of people want to work less. When I was young, I wanted to work more because I wanted to get more. I wanted to build more. Okay, I can have a business. And then I started getting into which I'll tell people and my kids not to do. There's fame and fortune, right? I say, go for the fortune. Don't chase fame. Like, fame is going to take you down all kinds of bad roads. But I said, wow, I can really do this. So it was first the freedom. I set my hours. And of course, in the beginning as an entrepreneur, you leave your 40-hour-a-week job to go to an 80-hour week working for yourself, right? So your hours get doubled, but the money gets like quadrupled, or more. So it's good. So that was kind of that was really the move I want. I go, well, I want that because I can do things and my initial thought was, wow, like, because I spent $85 on a wheelbarrow and a shovel. It made me $1,000. I'm like, wow, can I just rinse and repeat that? That'd be pretty cool. And then what if I had to pay a couple guys I'll pay them $6 an hour because I'm just kidding. But like, you could get guys, right? You could get guys to work for you.
Yeah, for real.
Because not everybody's an entrepreneur. Not everyone wants to most people don't want to run a business. They want to work and stuff like that. We'll get into that a little bit later on what you can pay them. But so I'm like, I can leverage that. Now, instead of one job in a day, I could do that same job in like 5 hours. Right. And get out, pay those guys. And then we could do more. I could get an extra job a week. I get 2 extra jobs a week. And that starts really, as you extrapolate out, it's like, wow, this is really starting to make money.
Yeah.
I went from a guy who couldn't make $2,000 a month to making 10 and 15 and $20,000 a month, doing the same.
There's so many like people that are starting businesses out that we've been around, and we've been in like mentorship programs, April and I have, and different rooms of training and coaching and things of like that nature as well. But we've seen so many people that did not have that knowledge that you had starting in, like they're being coached, they're paying thousands of dollars, like probably what your program is too, but to get coached on those exact ideas or those principles that you just mentioned there. So it's so powerful that you had that early and then you figured it out rather quickly, in my opinion. So a lot of people are, are struggling with that. But
and I'll tell you guys, because I don't actually coach startups.
Okay.
So if you're starting up, I do have an online program you can do. It's a 16-week program I give them. And here's why. And people think, oh, no, I'm not conceited. I don't think I'm better than you. You have to get scars. You got to get in the game. You got to get beat up. You can't value what I can bring you because you don't know, right? If you don't know what you don't know. So you got to get in, and I call it ignorance on fire, and it'll get you really far. Just go. I mean, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to lose a little bit of money, but just keep going and let that excitement, that initial excitement, that ignorance on fire get you somewhere, get you traction. Because in year 1, by year and a half, year 2, you're going to start going, oh, and if you don't, I suggest you do. You start thinking, okay, now I get it. This isn't so easy. Everyone thinks they're just going to have a business and have their time and make all this money. Now, I'll tell you, and I shock people with this statement. I go, the easiest thing to do in business is make money. There's nothing easier to do. It's everything else that's hard. And if you don't do everything else, you'll be me in 08. Okay. Well, you made millions and then you had nothing overnight. Okay?
Yes, so that's the part I wanted to revisit, and I think it correlates to what you just said about getting the scars, because you said you lost $500,000 in a day,
right?
And so there's so many parts to that you can ask about, because the one I wanted to ask about was, how did you continue on, but how did you get back up? Because when some people, when you have a loss that great, you kind of lose your, it takes a big piece of you, and everybody doesn't rebound from that, like not even just business wise or financially, but mentally, you know what I mean? Like people go into a depression and some more stuff. But I know you said that your children motivated you. And it also, you have the self-awareness to understand like your own characteristics, that I'm not built for a job, for a 9-to-5, or if I am, it's only, it's a timer on it. What did you kind of do to like not sink in that downward or not stay in that downward position.
Yeah, it's I am a like eternal optimist for one, for whatever reason. And I've been through a lot of stuff like growing
Yeah.
up, and so there's a lot of that, but there's just like I always prevail. And I do kind of go back to my Marine Corps experience too, because we weren't into losing, right? And if we got knocked down, it's always get up. If you're breathing, you're still in the fight. If I can take a breath, I'm still in the fight. So I have this in me. I have a lot of, if you look at my stuff, I have a lot of warrior mentality, right? So mine is always about the fight. To me, business is, it's an endless war. You're always fighting another battle, against obscurity. You're trying to do your marketing. You're trying to grab market space, right? You're trying to do all this stuff. So there's always a battle. There's competitors, right? Trying to take you out or compete against you. So I've kind of really clung to the warrior ethos, that we're going to do this. So when the big thing happened and like it's cleaning me out, it would crush a lot of people. And I've seen it happen and everything else. Cause it's like you go from, I mean, every award, every publication on TV, you're just everything. And then it's gone. And it's like, wow, like what do you do? And you have these little kids and you have a wife and they're going, well, now what? And I think again, going back to the Marine Corps stuff, I was on another show. I was saying, well, we kind of had you either achieve the mission or you died. So there wasn't a lot of in between. There wasn't lots of in between. It's like, I just have to treat it as life and death. So either I'm going to die or I'm going to win. I'm going to get through it. So that really was like, well, I will figure it out. I don't have the plan right now, but I'm going to move forward. So my thing was just take the steps, move forward. Okay, let's liquidate. Worst time ever to do that. You got like 20 cents on the dollar, right? So nothing was good about it. Nothing was good about it, except that little epiphany I had about my children and raising them, because it changed my entire mindset. So I clung to that, April. So I clung to that and go, okay, let's focus on how to build this and let's do something small. So I started training again because I've always been in fitness and a trainer and all that, coaching teams and all this stuff. So I said, well, I started working at Anytime Fitness. I said, I'll just be a trainer there. And they had like a subcontract thing. So they didn't have any trainers. So I built a training program there. I can't help but like build businesses. I just can't be normal and go like
your
train
blood,
people.
right?
Well, right. It's just something I do. So I became trainer of the year or Anytime. It's like, well, that's fun. I go, okay, well, I think I'll go. I think this means I need to go open my own place. So I developed my own programs and I started that. And that like just, I don't know, there's something for me on business that like it energizes me. Yeah, I can talk about business all day, every day. You know how they say, if you're passionate about something, never work a day in your life and all that kind of silly stuff. If it energizes you, if you love it, right, you have to know if it drains you, that's not a good thing, where you want to either hire that out or give it to someone else. But like business, coaching people, talking about business, helping them do the next thing, that was so exciting, building my own. Then I'm doing pitches at competitions like you see on Shark Tank and stuff. Now I'm doing that, I'm pitching like I'll franchise this business, so I don't know. It just like, I've never been depressed. I can't ever tell you a time I've like been depressed. I mean, I might be sad for like 10 minutes.
You have a gift.
I do. I don't know what it is.
You
It's so
do.
weird. Like if, again, we talk about all the stuff when I was a kid and come out and say, I don't know. It's just this thing that you just drive forward. I just want to get to the next place. It's like, okay, I can do this. And you ever read the book Grit by Angela Duckworth?
No.
Really, really, I highly recommend that book. It's called Grit. She's a researcher. It's a phenomenal book. And she followed all these guys who, achieve these great things. I mean, really big, big, big things. And said the common thing out of everything isn't capital. It's not education. It's not all these different things. It's grit. They never quit. They just power through it for years and years and years. And she has a scale. You take a test and see where you rate. So I'm a 97% on the grit scale.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah,
that's so
you're
powerful.
definitely special.
Yeah, you definitely have that God-given gift.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's
I
like a
agree.
natural desire to just excel, like not even succeed, but I'm gonna succeed and excel when I succeed.
Yeah, it's a great thing. And what I found, you guys, was now I get to help other people do it. And I get more joy out of others succeeding than my own success. Like I just love it. It's just it's a blessing. I'm like, I can do it. Like that's what I do now. I just help other people and do their things. And I have these outside eyes and I can see the things they can't because they're in it,
And
so
that's
it's
true,
cool.
because I really like how you compare like the rat race, the hamster wheel. And a
Mhm.
lot of people always, associate that with the 9 to 5, but you're the first person I've ever heard associated with entrepreneurism.
Yeah.
And that is true when you look at it, because we kind of do get in a this cycle of I'm doing everything, I'm wearing all these hats, and I can't take a break to change what I'm doing because I'm doing everything.
Right. You know
Can
what
you talk a little bit more about that?
yeah, that's a great, great insight, April. So here's what happens. It's really weird. Okay. So yeah, you're going to go hard. You're excited. You got an idea. You're going to you're bringing it. Now you're making money. People are hiring you, and maybe you're a technician or a craftsman and you're doing a lot of the work, and that's good. And now, like I said, it's easy to make money. Now you're making more money than if you work with someone or for someone, right? But not a lot more, but you're making more and you feel like you're in control of your time. You can do what you want. It's yours. You got your name on the truck or whatever it is, right? It's on your uniform. This is all you now. So this is another big mistake I had. Huge. My business became my identity. Okay. I was always in a Rick Rock shirt or a hat, or every truck was wrapped. I had multiple trucks, all this stuff. Everything was me. If I'm the award winner, right? I'm the guy they're putting in the newspaper. I'm the guy they're putting on TV. I'm giving the seminars. I'm doing all me, me, me. Everything is I. Everything was me. And that was another thing I realized along with the epiphany with my kids is like, I can't ever let my business be me. Like that's what imprisons you because you love it. It is you. You're putting everything you've got into it. And then here's the worst part. All of a sudden you get kind of comfortable because you are making more than you did, and more is a relative term, right? So, okay, you were making 70,000 a year at your job, and now you're making 110 working for yourself. Well, okay, it seems like okay, that's a good increase, but all of a sudden you get comfortable at 110. Now you're not trying to hire other people to take the work that you're doing. You just feel like you gave yourself a $40,000 a year raise. Wow, special. But you're not realizing you could have 10 times that,
So that
with
where comes
with
in
other
the
people
mind
doing.
shift, right?
Yeah, that's it.
It's
But you don't know how. So you're in it, you're on the wheel, like I said, then the years go by and you keep repeating the first 2 years, and you're so in it too, you don't have any good counsel. So like you're saying, April, all of a sudden you're on an island. Entrepreneurs become island inhabitants, right? You always hear that. It's lonely. You don't have friends because all I want to talk about is business and no one else does. My wife doesn't want to talk about business. She wants to raise 6 children. We're homeschooling them. We're doing all that stuff, right? She doesn't care about, and I mean that in a loving way. She shouldn't. She has to focus on teaching 6 children and raising them. And I'm just out doing my thing. So who am I going to talk to? I got no one to talk to, right? So what happens is you don't get that team of advisors, right? That counsel you want, people you know and respect who can just give you insight. Now, if you use me specifically, my Marine Corps mindset meant that I did it on my own. So I wouldn't ask for help. So my first 20 years, I didn't ask for help. Now I had multi-billionaire clients, super successful friends in my circle who were offering me, hey, maybe you should think about this. And no, what do you know? I mean, I'm thinking they know. I was just kind of thick. Okay. I was pretty dumb. Okay. I worked twice as hard and took twice as long, but I did it. So I had that satisfaction of overcoming all that. But like I tell my children, I go, do what I do now, not what I did then. Like you need the grit, you need to be able to push through, but you have to do it smart. It has to be strategic, right? Really got to think about it. So I think people get stuck in that and then they get comfortable and then it keeps going. And then now it's too painful because you're existing on that 120, right? Or 110 or whatever. You're existing on that and you don't understand because you haven't got into the business what's going to take to expand to hire people. I haven't planned to hire people to take this hat, take this hat, take that hat. Well, that's going to cost you to do that. You'll get it back because you're hiring assets. They're going to take it off your plate so you can do more. I call it focusing on your 5%. As a business owner, the goal is to only do the 5% in your business only you can do. The vision, the growth, stuff like that, right? Everything else, I mean, admin, office manager stuff, the actual work, that's all somebody else, right? But if you don't plan for that, if you don't have that built in, ready to go, you can't ever achieve that. Because again, you start getting comfortable, a little more money, and then you're going and you can't gain now because you can't scale, you can't grow, right? Because you limited yourself and you got comfortable will kill you. Comfort
So
is just a bad place to
yeah.
be.
So you have your systems in place that you can assign out to others and hire out hire out to others and make sure that the systems are there. You have to learn how to teach the systems to someone else. That's kind of big too. What if they're having struggles actually teaching the person they're hiring? Do you help them with that too, or?
Yeah, Janice, that's a great insight too. So here's the thing, like every owner wants their business systemized, right? We all do, right? Hey, it runs itself. Who doesn't want that? Right? So I can actually have freedom to do things. Everyone wants that. But no entrepreneur is going to do it because they don't have the bandwidth. You can't be doing all this stuff and think you're going to come and systemize your whole business because you just don't have the ability to do that. So we, as coaches, of course, we can come in and do that. But the big problem they have, so there's 3 things you do in a business, real simple. It's automate, delegate, and eliminate. Okay, just those 3 things. So you want to so you want to automate as much as you can. And in today's world, a lot of things can be automated. You have AI, you have virtual assistants, you have all this great stuff. I mean, Fiverr, like they can do a logo for like $10. I mean, you can do so much stuff that can be automated for you. They can handle everything. So automate whatever you can. That's where you begin. Then you got the delegate part, right? So, and everyone's like, yeah, I'll tell John to do this. Well, but John doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't know what to do. You're telling him to do it, but he doesn't even know the process. So they haven't prepared John to run in the lane. He doesn't know what's involved in this job. We call them job functions. So what you do is you take a position and you have to build out all their job functions. Could be 5 things, could be 7, could be 30, right? And they do them every day, once a month, whatever it is. But these are all things they're responsible for. Then the next column, you build out the how to do all those things, right? So all that knows how. And then there's a third column of the actual training of the how, which is part of an automation process, right? So you automate the training as well for the how. Now, when you get someone who's competent, they've got skills, they've got energy, you can drop them in that lane and they will run very fast and they'll do really, really well because every day isn't a mystery to them. You know, am I supposed to do this? I'm not supposed to do this. Can I help this guy? Looks like he's struggling. Is the boss going to come yell at me because I'm, so you got to build that stuff out. That's the hard work. But once it's built out, because there's another saying I always tell people in business, everybody leaves. Okay. Yeah. People aren't staying with you forever. I'd love it. Hey, you might get 5 years, you might get 5 months, you might get 5 days, you might get 20 years, but eventually everybody leaves. So you have to skill up, systemize, ready to replace. So that next person come in 7 days, be 100% at that job and thriving, right? Because that's what they're hired to do. They're not hired to build your business. They're not hired to figure out a system that'll work in their position. I mean, and people, entrepreneurs, I'm throwing us all under the bus. We all think they will because we all think they think like us. We get things done. We do it. We take the initiative. We build this out. We'll take the risk. We'll get done. No one who's going to come work for you wants to do that because if they did, they'd be doing it.
You have to be able to communicate your vision through these processes. So automate, delegate, and the third one?
Eliminate.
So here's what you eliminate. This is really important. So yeah, you eliminate redundancies, cost inefficiencies, right? Inefficient work. You want to get rid of that kind of stuff, right? But the most important thing to eliminate is you. You need to eliminate you from this work.
That's a gem.
Okay. 95% of yeah.
Right. Okay. You need to you don't come in my office. No, I'm not available. Okay. Figure it out. So we build methods so you want to teach people to be a problem solver, right? So if people come knock on your door and they're asking you, how do I do this? And how do I do that? I'm like, okay, let me fix this really easy. And we've designated called the 3 S's. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to, and this can be an email, It can be the situation. Here's the situation, right? Here's 3 solutions. Okay, that's the next S. And the third S is here's my suggestions. So you have them define what the problem is. They have to work out solutions. When they could be right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Give me 2 or 3 solutions. And then they give me the suggestion on the solution or solutions they think should be the best. Now, when I get that, now I can say, okay, nice work. Well, this solution won't work, but this one is the one you want to run with. So run with that. Done.
Whoa.
What was that? 10 seconds?
Wow.
And
Y'all,
now
I took notes. Y'all need to take notes. Y'all need to take notes. Those are some
but
gems.
that will empower your people to solve problems, take care of it. It's going to lift them up. It's not more work. It's lifting them up to like handle this and just keep going in their lane. Right.
Absolutely.
And just like when you delegate and put someone in that lane, you also have to give them the authority in that position as well. Can't just tell them to do it. You got to give them the authority to do this, to solve this, to move this forward, to tell so-and-so what to do and this person what to do or not, whatever that is, give them that authority so they can run with it. So again, they don't have to come to you, right? So it's just a little strategic thinking going as you build this so people can, people want to work for a purpose. They want to be good at what they do. I don't care what it is, as simple or as complex as it may be. They want to be good at it. No one wants to be schlock. No one wants to come in and be a terrible, terrible employee. Now,
Right.
those people exist, right? Not in my business, but business they exist. But people do want to do well. But if you don't help
Absolutely.
them do well, if you don't give them the tools to do it, how can you even hold them accountable
That's
when they
true.
don't
That's
actually
so
know
true.
what to do?
Yeah, that's so
So
powerful.
true. You are
Yeah,
just a treasure chest of knowledge. Where
yes.
can people find you?
Sharpen the Spear Coaching.com.
Sharpen Spear
Sharpen the
Coaching.com.
Spear.
Sharpen the
Sharpen.
Spear Coaching.com.
That's it. Yes. Great
Awesome.
one-stop shop. Go there. You can find out all you want about me. Contact me. Everything else. Escape the Owner Prisons, the book. You can find that on Amazon. And let me do this for you guys because I've had a really good time. So I want to offer a special gift to your listeners
Oh,
for the
thank
Abundance Tree
you.
podcast only. So like you can get my book on Amazon. You can buy it. Or if you like audiobooks, go to sharpenthespearcoaching.com. Send me a 1-sentence email. Say, hey, Richard, I heard you on the Abundance Tree podcast. Love to get your audiobook. Send. And I will send you the link and you'll have access to my audiobook for free.
Thank you so
Wow.
much. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much. We
much.
love that. I'll be the first one to
Absolutely love
email.
that.
I love it.
Yes.
Right. Does it count for us?
Yes, of course.
Oh my
Free is
goodness.
free.
Thank
I'm free. Give it.
Y'all
And you
better
get to
send that
hear me.
email.
You get to hear me read it. So you get me for like
Awesome.
2.5 more hours. How cool is
Love
that?
it.
No,
And
that's
I hope they were
amazing
taking
stuff.
notes too, because you dropped some gems there. So y'all better take notes on that. I took notes. So, so go ahead, April.
Absolutely. No, I was just thank you and a huge
Yeah.
shout out to you. We only have about a minute left. If you can give a quick 60 seconds of advice or a quick piece of wisdom to somebody that's been in business for a long time, because it may be hard to explain to them why they need help, what would you say? Like super quick.
Yeah. If you're looking for freedom, profit, and impact in your business, you need a coach. You need outside eyes to see what's going on. You just can't see everything. And I'm telling you, for me, not having those outside eyes for 20 years, how critical it is. So find the right person. If it's me, happy to talk to you. Just book a call on my website. I'll talk to you and see what we can do, or find the person who's going to fit. It will change your entire future. It is the
Wow.
way to go.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on with us, Richard. It was such a fun.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you guys. I appreciate the time.
Y'all have a great night.
Have a great night.
Bye.